went to high school, I took 4 programming courses. I was lucky enough to have these courses available to me, but he told me that I would never be cut off for computer science. He didn't just tell me, but he told this in front of my parents or 4 different PTA meetings across 2 years. So he told me to go do sales because I was really good at talking. I organized a TED Talk when I was in high school. It was the largest high school TED Talk at that time. And I also did a Shark Tank event. And he was like, yo, this kid is doing all this stuff. Go put him in sales. Make sure he never does CS. And I took offense to that. And then 4 years later, basically, like I did a bunch of things that I would never think I did before, right? I ended up winning 13 hackathons, getting first place in 6 of them, including like JP Morgan Chase, IBM, Capital One, SD Lauder, Hack Cornell, Hack NYU, a couple other places. I went to 8 boot camps. So I paid money or a sponsor. I went to 8 boot camps. It's on my LinkedIn. You can see which 8 boot camps I went to. I did an undergrad in 3 years. I went to Queens College. Most people in my college do undergrad in like 4 or 5 years, but they don't do it in 3 years. I finished in 3. And I got promoted because I graduated a year early. I got promoted as a senior software engineer on the most competitive team at Capital One. There were 900 people that joined Capital One as full-time. Nearly every one of them wants to work in New York. And within New York, everyone wanted to work on my team, the machine learning conversational AI team. In that team, I got promoted out of 21 other people. I got promoted over people who have a master's in computer science or data science and have worked longer than me. They had masters from like Columbia. They had masters from like Cornell, and they chose to promote me over those guys, right? The reason I share this is because I figured something out for myself. I was in a position where companies would give me the most craziest offers and interview ideas so that I reply back to their email. I was given senior positions. I was given tech lead positions. I really figured it out, right? And my hope is what I figured out for myself. I don't just keep it with me. I don't just keep it with my friends, but I can share it with the rest of the world. And that is why I started Headstarter. In addition to that, I don't want to just be my own person yapping. Before I even did anything, I found 400 other people who also I consider same. People who are not just my age or my level, but older than me, managers who are hiring, directors who are hiring, executives, founders at every level, Series A, B, C, D, E, IPO founders, so that I can learn from how they interview, how they teach, and to create a system. And so I have a vision. My vision is 3 things, right? My vision is 3 things. And I really want everyone here who's listening to like pay attention and share this in your applications and just like share this, I want people to ask questions. I want people to answer questions because those skills are very important. But my vision is 3 things. My number 1 vision is I want to get rid of college career services. I think they have no place in this world. Who can agree? Whoever went to a college career service and got positive feedback, they don't understand tech. They don't understand like skills. They don't even understand how to create a good resume. 1 or 2 advice they have is decent. The events they host online can kind of make sense. Another thing is CS hasn't changed the last 30 years. Computer sciences degree, whether you go to Cornell, MIT, Queens College, St. John's, NJIT, Berkeley, or San Jose University, you're going to get the same goddamn curriculum. My dad did CS 30 years ago in IIT Kharagpur, right? I still think it's probably one of the most competitive universities in the world. Like there's 1 billion people in India and all of them basically want to go there. CEO of Google also went there. CEO of Microsoft also went there, right? So a lot of really cool people went to that school. And the curriculum he had, I had the same goddamn curriculum. There was no change. Like my dad got the same questions as automata, principles of learning theory. And so my number 1 mission is to create a better pedagogy, a better way of learning. And number 2 is create something that's more efficacious and transferable to what the real world is. Why learn all this theory? Well, a real software engineer really needs to be a true problem solver. And problem solver isn't lead code. Problem solving is you being able to tackle whatever problem that you can do. Backend, frontend, AWS, ML, being able to do things like supervised machine learning, whatever the heck problem it is, you figure it out and you solve it. And you don't solve it alone, but you solve it as a team, right? And so my number 1 vision is to create a better place where people can be more collaborative, where people can learn things that are relevant and be an accelerant. It doesn't have to be 4 years. I think people can get to a very high prestige level with a much shorter period of time. Not 7 weeks. 7 weeks is not enough time. I think it takes longer than that. But that's my number 1 vision. My number 2 vision to note is I think HR people don't have a place in this world. HR people create these HR people in HR software. The ATS systems that exist today just don't work, right? You work so hard to create a resume, but they don't even read the resumes. And people can now cheat on the resume. It's not necessarily the best way of signaling. and the screening is not efficient, right? So I want to create a much better way of creating signal. And the last thing it kind of goes into this is not just the initial part of the interviewing process, which is applying and then getting here back, but also interviewing. I think data structures and algorithms as a litmus test of who you are and how successful you're going to be in the world doesn't make sense. In the real world, you're never going to be doing like most of the time a black, red, those type of trees, right? So like these are signals, in my opinion, that don't make sense. The education system, the HR system, and the actual interviewing system are testing for signals that are not relevant, in my opinion. And I don't say this out of my own butt. I know 30 founders who have billion-dollar companies. Matter of fact, I just right now got off on a call with a founder who graduated from MIT. Now they have raised, I think, $70 million at Series C company. I'm always listening to what they're looking for. Today morning and last night, I talked to another 2 founders who have raised $8 million for their company. These are CS grads who have raised this money. They've raised $8 million for their companies, and they tell me how anyone who applies in the ATS software, they never hear back. The people that they hired are referrals. The people that they hired were like they have very unique journeys. Everyone has a unique journey, right? And so my idea is to take that unique journey concept and make it real. I really believe as a business to succeed, you have to find something called product market fit for like rapid growing startup businesses, right? You have to find out like what makes you unique. What is your unique like value proposition, and why are people going to care about you, right? And my understanding is the same way someone builds a business, you have to build your career. You have to find what's your own unique. You got to be one for one. You can't go out there like sheep and then doing like everything that everyone else is doing. You have to come up with some unique value proposition about you that makes you very, very unique. For me, it was winning 13 hackathons. That made me very, very unique. There's not a lot of people that did that. For my co-founder, Faizan, he published a machine learning research paper when he was 19 years old. He didn't even know goddamn anything about machine learning. He just learned it on the spot. He figured it out and he published it. He had a good professor to do it. I believe every single person who's accepted into Headstarter has to do a discovery of what makes them one for one, not just makes them unique as a person, among the people who are accepting Headstarter, but in the general scheme of things, of all the people that are getting a master's from MIT and Georgia Tech and these other great universities, all the people who have experience already, it's a very competitive market out there. What are you doing that's going to make you unique? That's very important. And I told myself I want to talk for more than 5 minutes and do more Q&A. But that's just something I wanted to share, which is at Headstarter, what we're creating is a new way for you to do signal. This is a mix of you giving like motivation and tips, but also more so, we have a more objective methodology. We call it career capital. It's a score from 0 to 100, where 100 is a senior software engineer, 2 years worth of experience, let's say has graduated from a master's at MIT. Compared to that person, where the heck do you lie? Everyone's asking me about acceptances. Oh, am I going to hear back? Like, how competitive is this program? Forget about how competitive this program. How competitive is the real world? Like, that's the question you have to ask yourself. Compared to that person who has 100 at MIT, like the 100 career capital, where do you rank? To be very frank with you, a lot of people who are applying to Headstarter, if I were to really do acceptances, are like a 5 or like a 7 out of 100. So it's so everyone's a work in progress, a big major work in progress. Imagine when you go to like a home and it needs renovation, right? It needs renovation. And like you're like, oh man, I got to change the boiler, I got to change the heat, I got to redo the sheetrock. This whole neighborhood is terrible. This whole neighborhood is bad. If I buy this property and I renovate it, like no matter how much work I put in the house, the price is gonna be like there's gonna be a ceiling. That's all of you guys. Your house needs work. The area and location, the friends you hang out with, no matter how much renovation you do, they're gonna always, devalue your actual market value, right? So my idea for Headstarter is that you get your place in the world, right? And so we have this objective method of career capital, and how do we make money, and where do we see our opportunity being? Well, number one is I want to figure out the school system, right? I deadass want to build like a 10x school, a process where people can actually get to that level of 100 career capital. My hope by the end of this fellowship is you get to maybe like career capital, 25 or 30, but to get to 100 is going to be a lot of work. People have been coding since 6th grade, and then they did 6 years of school, 4 years of undergrad, 3 internships in between, 2 years of master's, and then have 2 years work experience. How the heck are you going to get there from 6th grade to 6 years of undergrad and 2 years work experience in 7 weeks? Impossible. But I think there are better ways of getting there. I think there are more efficient ways, right? And so the first opportunity I see at Headstarter is identifying. We're just doing R&D, right? I'm talking to so many people, like I did today morning. I'm trying to find out a more effective way of not learning but building, right? Of just like being able to build something, build your skills in industry, right? So the way we make money, right? A way to find a much better way to like learn, a much better way to like work together and collaborate, and that's efficacious and transferable to real industry. And the second thing is, if we're not trying to gatekeep to 1% people who want to be 1% software engineers. Is the main thing is to show momentum and signal that you have potential to become the 1% software engineer. If you have potential to become the 1% software engineer, that's all people care about. They don't care anything else. If you can just show signal that you have the ability, you have what it takes in you to become a 1% software engineer, that's all that matters. And so if I can showcase that people who go through Headstarter, some of these guys have, or girls, have worked day and night, have hustled, I'll do what I can to get you guys hired. Again, I know people who have raised millions and hundreds of millions of dollars who are looking to hire, tens to hundreds of engineers in the upcoming few months. This Sunday, I talked to someone who's raised 160 million, I believe, for a company called Next Health. They're building a universal API for healthcare. He has an engineering team of a couple hundred. His total team is like, I think 280. He's raising another round. So if he's already raised 120 million, he's going to raise now like 400. Like he's going to raise a ridiculous amount of money to hire a ridiculous number of people. And the last thing he wants is a bad apple. He wants people that are vetted. He wants people that actually have signal, right? That have momentum and shown potential that they can become 1%. And so that's what I kind of want to do. And I just want to share that. That's the two kind of streams of revenue that we have. One is an R&D, a much better form of school. And two is to work with companies so they can have their hiring needs. And they don't have to hire an HR person who doesn't understand any technology, tech stack, anything like that. Maybe they got like a degree from some liberal arts college and drink Starbucks, and now they're happy that they got an HR role. These people, in my opinion, are not suited for at least for software engineering. Make them do sales recruiting. Make them do like some other recruiting. But for software engineering recruiting, you need something that's a little bit more one-for-one, something that's more customized for you. So this is a little bit about Headstarter. I have three kind of quick beliefs, and then I go into like my number one belief is learning is commoditized. So I don't want to sell any content on learning. What makes Headstarter unique is community and feedback. When I say community, I particularly very specifically mean face-to-face in-person meetups. So if you're joining Headstarter, you don't have too much intention to do it face-to-face. If you're joining Headstarter, you have too much intention to work and collaborate with other. I'm just sorry, but Headstarter is not for you. Go do another program. Go watch a Udemy course or go to school. School is great for that. But if you want to come to Headstarter, be open-minded, come to in-person meetups, do in-person meetings, and I'll do my best. The network of 400, every week I'll throw a bunch of them at you. For example, upcoming Thursday, we have secured a vice president or head of product at AMD. You guys know NVIDIA? Yeah, NVIDIA's competitors, Intel and AMD. One of the top dogs at AMD is going to be speaking to all the accepted fellows upcoming Thursday. Every week, there's going to be folks like that. And not just like that, but at every level. I get someone at the manager level. I get someone at the software engineering level. I get a new grad who recently got a job. I'll get a past fellow who got a job. I'll get interns who made it this summer. And so they can share like more relevant information, right? So this is what I define as community: in-person meetups, team collaboration, and then three is like I don't want to give you the answers. I want you to come and get the answers yourself. I'll bring people who I think create 1% engineers. And to create 1% engineer means you're definitely one of them, right? I'll bring you managers, directors, leaders, founders. I'll bring you interns. I'll bring you new grads. And you come up with your own decision about what you think makes sense to actually make it, right? And so the onus is kind of on your hands. So that's why I define as community. And what do I define as feedback? Again, learning is commoditized, but what's coveted is community and feedback. And this is one of the philosophies that I have, and I want to imbue in Headstarter. So when it comes to feedback, well, we have to leverage what kind of exists, right? We can train on how these software engineers think and how these leaders and directors and founders think, and we can give you feedback on that. If you want a one-on-one with someone who's raised 120 million, if you want a one-on-one with the CEO, like they're gonna charge you thousands of dollars. Like, where the heck are you gonna get that money? You can't. But for free, literally, because we'll pay for it. Like, we can get their data and then kind of like you upload a coding project or you upload like something about you, and we can give you feedback on like what this person would think, right? Or like what like all these people as a consensus would kind of think about you and your current situation, right? And that is the one bit of feedback we can leverage, like, today's world of one-on-one kind of feedback, right? And the second thing when it comes to feedback is just as a community, we want to encourage a lot of peer feedback where people are asking questions like on Discord, on Reddit, and you guys are actively responding, right? This is also very, very important. And then lastly is nothing beats face-to-face feedback. We'll create systems, we'll create processes where you will have a one-on-one opportunity with a software engineer, and they will give you feedback on your code. They'll give you feedback on your presentation. They'll give you feedback on your situation. I will create that opportunity. I cannot guarantee it. I don't know how I'll do it. To be honest, like I'm still figuring things out, but I will do it. Doesn't matter how many thousand of you there exist. There's a lot more there's 27 million software engineers that exist in the world, right? And so all the people who want to become an emerging software engineer, there's definitely ways we can incentivize both the software engineer and you guys to get that real in-person software engineer feedback, right? So we'll kind of create all of that. So I said a bunch of things here. I don't want to yap for too long. I do want to answer your questions, but just to summarize, I covered my background. I covered kind of like why I started Headstarter and kind of the opportunities of how we make money. I covered about we are reinventing Signal, and we have a concept called career capital. I covered like one of the philosophies I have, which is learning is commoditized, but what's still coveted is feedback and more IRL, more in person, both in the community and also the feedback. You want to get feedback from a real person who's been there, done that, than some arbitrary career counselor or friends or some other community, right? Quality is very important for us. And I think for the very first time, if we let AI and other stuff do the learning and teaching, we can actually focus on the community, focus on the in-person feedback. And so I'm just very, very much all in on that, right? So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit more like tactical information. So how is the kind of and you guys can hear me, right? I'm not breaking off. You guys can hear me loud and clear. Okay, cool. So curriculum, what does that look like? Well, if you go on our website, as you already have, right? You see this breakdown, right? And let me just tell you who we got here. The person who's giving you this advice, the person who's giving you this curriculum, this dude is our intern. We had 10,000 people apply to become our intern. We selected one person. This person won 28 hackathons. His last hackathon was first place at Berkeley 3 weeks ago. And he had dinner with the founder of OpenAI that night. This is the person who's going to give you demos on how to create like these different projects. So every week, the first 5 weeks, you're going to have like different projects. And the last 2 weeks, you're going to build your own project that we want you to present to a real software engineer. Now, how is every week going to look like? If you go to this information page, and we're going to update this very shortly. If you go to this information page, what you're going to have here is this is the breakdown. Every day you're going to have 2 activities, right? The first activity is a coaching call. In the coaching call, you're going to have with an AI version of me, you're going to talk about 3 things. Number 1, what is your 5-year goal? Do you want to be a tech leader? Do you want to be an individual contributor? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? What's a tech leader? A tech leader is someone who gets a job as a software engineer, quickly gets promoted, and goes into management, executive, and leadership positions. An individual contributor is someone who doesn't like meetings too much. They just want to code. They're curious. They think about abstract problems. They get paid tons of money. OpenAI pays them, nearly $1 million. I mean, people make $1 million across all the board. You can become a millionaire regardless of what you do, right? And if you do it really well. And so, individual contributor is like someone who is like has no management responsibilities. Their focus is on solving problems at a larger scale as the enterprise or organization grows. And then last is an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you have to sell. You have to understand both the code, understand the product requirements, and so many other things that are probably not there. The reason why I say this is because every week I want you to know what you want to be. Just think about it. Choose one. Like, and based on that, your project is also going to be geared around. So the coaching call, you're going to talk about like what your 5-year vision is. We're going to talk about how you're going to prioritize this week. Talk about like this week, what is it I'm going to do so that I can have my minimum deliverables. You just verbally commit to that, because when you verbally commit to it, you're more likely to do it than just like having an intention that never came out. That's the idea of this coaching call. And then in future weeks, the idea of the coaching call is to call you out. The things that you said you would do last week, did you do them? Why or why not did you do it? What else is going on in your headspace, personal life and work life, beyond just school, beyond just Headstarter? What else is going on? Let's navigate what's happening. So the coaching call is going to be that, and it's also going to include a resume review. So like every week, we want to see momentum in your career, and one of the ways of momentum is just being actively updating your resume and whatnot. So No one gets any project or any other items until they get the coaching call. That's number one, you have to know. Then the project drops on Monday. This is a video of Bill going through that project, and some resources and a challenge. So something beyond what's been shown to you. We have the code as well, but we don't want to show the code in the beginning. Maybe we'll give you the code on Friday or something, so that you guys can try to copy and paste what Bill did, use the resources to go ahead and do the challenge. Now, the project is going to be due Friday. We want you to submit the project on our platform, and we want to give you some feedback, and we want to give you two people's names that is going to give you, that's going to go through the project and give you feedback. And you have to also give them feedback. So that's happening on Friday. And then the other two, so that's Monday and Friday. So on Tuesday, we're going to give you a mock interview. So this is going to be one of the topics, 12 different algorithm and data structure topics. It could be stacks and queues, trees, whatever. We'll give you a mock interview, and your goal is to get 70% at the end. This mock interview is going to be with an AI version that we've worked on last year. Earlier this year, we launched it. We're specifically looking on how you problem solve, how you come up with a plan, how do you solve it, how do you test it, and we give you feedback on your communication, your collaboration, your professionalism, your understanding, your problem solving, and lastly, your coding. So that's going to be on Tuesday, and this is due on Wednesday. So quick, tight meetup. Also on Tuesday, we want to see some networking. Go find alma mater in your school, go find alma mater in like other places, and reach out to them and show us proof and evidence that you've reached out to other people. At least two people you have to reach out to every Tuesday. On Wednesday, we'd like you and your team to meet, or other teams in Headstarter. Go on the Discord voice chats, or go on your own sub locale and meet up with them. Like, have your own separate Zoom call. If you have teammates that are already made, go check up on them. What's up with them? How did they do in the mock interview? How are they doing in their projects? Share notes. So that's on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we'll have the event with a panel. We'll bring some speakers over. Also on Thursday, we'll have, we want you to post on LinkedIn and other places that, hey, look, I've done Headstarter. I've met this, like, for example, I met the vice president or head of product at AMD. Here's what I learned. You want the people, engineers that you add on your LinkedIn, and ideally even having a mailing list, having your own mailing list, you want them to see like momentum, traction, that you're talking to other people, you're hearing from people, and you're serious about your career. And so these guys, you're not just some random person like, hey, can I get referral? Can I get referral? Or like go on rooftop slash, can I get referral? Go and see as that. But people who are rooting for you. You want to create your own audience of people who are software engineers who don't just root for you, but give you information about what it is you need to succeed at their company or just in general as a career, right? So that's the idea. You want to build your own kind of personal brand momentum and that posting in LinkedIn. Friday, the projects are due. Now, the people who complete the projects, they have to give each other feedback. We give you two people. And then on Saturday, the people who complete the project are going to get a ticket to do a hackathon. Hackathons are going to happen on Saturdays, and they're going to alternate between one Saturday and the next Saturday, right? So that's kind of like the idea. And like the full breakdown. I don't think this is as relevant because you guys are still trying to get accepted. So I'll kind of quickly talk about that. The people that we're accepting, we're doing it in batches. So I'm hoping after I'm done with this call, I can go through some more applications and then send the people kind of who applied, whether it's last week or this week, we can get to them with a decision. Regarding acceptances, what percentage of people have applied or accepted? Like, our goal is actually to turn down at least like 50% of the people. So 50% of people who apply, we, just off the bat, right? So then like the question is like, okay, let's look at the other 50%, what criteria and how do they kind of stack up? So we're kind of like still looking through that and seeing how we can be efficient, but right now it's been very manual, right? So me and Faizan, we just essentially have these Excel sheets, we have all your responses, and we're kind of going through them with a few things in mind. So that's kind of acceptances. If you applied more recently, how long will it take for you to hear back? We definitely want to tell you yes or no within like a 2 to 3 day turnaround. I know some people applied last week. I know some people may even applied the week before through Rafa. So we apologize, if we're not able to make it as quickly as possible. We are trying our best to do that. Another thing that's very important is if you have teammates or you have people that your friends who you would like them to be part of the program, please tell them to sign up ASAP. Do not delay as much as possible. What can you do to help your application after you applied? What we want to see stand out is visibility. This is a skill that you want to train from day one. Whether you're going to be entrepreneur, whether you're going to be individual contributor, whether you're going to be a whatever, you need to lock down on your visibility. Would it dilute the program? No, it will. If too many people are accepted, would it dilute the program? Not if the people who are accepted are serious, right? And like if you want to signal like, oh look, I got into a program that has like 1,000 people applied and only 5 people got in and I'm one of them, you're not going to be one of them, trust me. You're not going to be one of them. What if you want signal? Everyone who joins the program, I'll tell you if you're in the top 10%. I'll tell you if you're in the top 20%. I'll tell you if you're in the bottom 80%. And then you know what else I'm going to do? At the end of the and I'll tell you how you rank up compared to everyone. So if you were someone who coded for 6 years since 6th grade, and then you went to undergrad for like at a top university and you entered 3 places, and I will give you guys a ranking that you can not just compare against each other, but compare against a whole grand scheme of people. The other thing, if you've already applied, how do you stand out? Ask questions and answer questions. People are going to ask questions in Discord and Reddit and other places. Ask questions and then answer questions. It's very, very, very important, right? So that's how you can stand out. We do check your rank on Discord. We check several. We have Reddit API access, so we're seeing what people are doing, right? And we do take that into consideration heavily. We also care about teammates, so please don't come in as a blank slate at this point. If you're applying, I already have a teammate that's accepted, or you know someone who wants to have you on their team, or you have a referral. Like these are the 3 things that we care about. If you don't have a referral, the world works in a very weird way. I think we should start making you train, kind of similarly. Okay. So that's acceptance. Covered curriculum, I covered acceptance, in-person meetup. So this Saturday, I'm going to try to organize an in-person meetup in every single one of those channels you see. I'll create a Luma invite and I'll put that Luma invite in those channels, and I need a point person in all those channels to be the person who to select a location and a place, right? I've gotten some emails, but we will try to host in-person meetups. In-person, face-to-face is an accelerant to your career. Do not be in a little shed in a dark coding. That is not going to get you anywhere. You need to be people-facing. You need to ask questions. You need to be sometimes even get some tough love from other software engineers who are ahead of you. And most software engineers today's world are not going to give you like the what you need. You need to pry it out. At Headstarter, I want to help you ask better questions and better quality questions, right? So that's kind of all the things I've said. I'll do Q&A for maybe like 5 minutes, and then I will leave so I can work on those acceptances. So there's just like way too many questions here, and I can only, what I'll be do is the people who kind of raise their hands. Mohammed, bro, you got to ask the question in the accepted files. Maheen, are you accepted? What's your question, Maheen? Yeah.
My question was that the link, there are 2 links, like one is for the voice message, which we have to record and then we have to send. Was that the link like proper link? Like it goes
Yeah,
to you?
good. If you've
Or
applied before, that's fine. You just gotta sit tight and wait now. If you applied through Rafa, that's
oh,
fine. We just gotta sit tight and
because
wait.
there are 2 links and I was totally confused. Like
Good. I got your
if
question. You
we,
could have asked this on Discord. I also got an answer. So I got it. Make sure to don't just ask me these questions. Ask these on Discord. Ask this here. Also, if you see a question in the chat that someone else like asked and you have the answer to, respond to them. Right. So that's Maheen, I'm gonna take
I,
the other questions. Ask the other question on Discord. So Kunsel, what's your question?
Hi, thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, after we already applied, can we still refer people? And
Yes.
if so, how?
Yeah. Well, the main way, if you've already applied, is teammates, right? If you've put them in teammates, if you already sent your application, you could redo your part 2. Now, if you've already applied, someone who has not applied yet, they can still put your name under the referral. Okay. So if you applied and someone else puts your name under referral and then we accept you, that's good for that person. Now, the problem though is like if you got rejected, that'll probably be bad for that person, but they can definitely do that. Cool. Rebecca, what's your question?
Yeah, sorry, I had a similar question because I applied on Rafa and wanted to see if should I add referrals since they already got accepted. My friends already got accepted.
So you have any questions? So you're good?
I think so. I applied on the 12th on Rafa and I haven't gotten a response. But
All
you
right, so
said
just hang tight. Just hang tight so we can get to the RAF is a different system, right? So it's like another vendor and it's a little bit hard to work with them right now. So we'll get to you as soon as possible. Okay, Etasham, what's up? think your mic is not working.